My name's Brooke Tannehill. I am a senior communication major at Clemson, and I have a French Studies and Business Administration minor, and my hometown is Arlington, Virginia, but I've moved and lived all over the place.
Why communication?
When I was applying for colleges, I knew that I was a complete people person. I knew I was interested in business and marketing, but when I was looking at Clemson, which is one of the schools I wanted to go to, the communication program spoke out to me in the sense of small classrooms and settings, and it was a little bit more exclusive than the marketing program there. And so when I was deciding and I had gotten into Comm, they were kind of telling me, if you want to do marketing, you can switch, but you can't switch from marketing to communication. And so that kind of solidified it for me. And I was just interested in general on studying how people communicate.
What is your favorite study spot on or off campus?
When it's nice outside, I love to be by the reflection pond, although it's harder to do stuff on my computer there. So that's if I have work that's paper-based or if I'm reading something.
What does your ideal Saturday look like?
So I'm a very active person. My ideal Saturday would definitely start with either doing yoga or working out. I love to read, as I mentioned, so reading, and then playing guitar and hanging out with my friends.
What organizations or clubs are you involved with at club?
I am in the Honors College, which has been wonderful, and that is probably one of the favorite groups that I'm part of on campus. I'm also a member of Alpha Delta Pi. I am a general member for the radio station, WizBiff, 88.1 FM. I do marketing for them and general stuff, although it's harder with COVID right now to get in onto the office or into the radio station. I am also a member of the French Professional Society, and when I was a freshman, I did Residence Hall Association. And then throughout my time at Clemson, I have been part of UPIC, which is the university paid internship program.
What are you passionate about?
Well, communication is kind of my strength and music is my passion. And so I've discovered this and kind of solidified this at my time at Clemson. And those two things together have been what makes me want to pursue the career path that I'm on.
Can you just talk more about any internships or work experience and what was the most impactful about it?
I believe that communication, the most important way to learn it is to be totally involved and immersive in like an actual internship program where you're doing things for a company or for an organization. So I started out my freshman year working for the Peer Center for Professional Communications. That's at the bottom of Daniel Hall, and I did marketing and videography there using Adobe Creative Cloud. Then I did marketing for campus recreation, which was really fun. I've had a lot of internships, so I'll try to go through them. I also worked for university relations as the strategic communications intern. So a lot of that consisted of doing press releases for the university relations team, as well as sending out emails and communicating our articles, writing articles for them. And then right now, I am not technically an intern, but I'm a student worker for Clemson Online. So I do videography for them. And then I've had internships outside of Clemson, and those have been in the summertime / remotely because of COVID. So most notably, I've done 3 music internships. This summer, I worked for Red Light Management, which is a artist management company. I interned with them, and it was virtual, but essentially we were working with huge artists like Odessa, Chris Stapleton, Lady A, and I was an artist management intern. So I did stuff related to file management, attending seminars, and learning the ropes of the music industry. And that led me into my digital media internship in the fall with Brain Candy Management. They are a management group much smaller than Red Light for very small and upcoming artists in Nashville, but that was remote due to COVID. And now I am the press intern for Shuff Media, which is a regional press and touring agency for music in London.
Okay, and where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
Sure. So I have a very entrepreneurial spirit. I would love to either do freelance work in terms of press, marketing, artist management. Additionally, just working in the music industry, getting my footing in. You know, I'd love to eventually be able to own my own business related to music and related to communication.
Are there any current projects you're working on at your internship that you want to talk about?
But while some of the stuff I technically do is confidential, I can speak in terms of the artists and record labels we work for. So I, as a press intern, will do things from transcribing interviews with artists like Rag and Bone Man to file management for clients we work with such as AC/DC, Bastille, Lady Gaga. So that's been really lovely. And I do a lot of outreach to community radio stations in London region, reaching out, you know, promoting the artists that we're working with. And I'm working on promoting some new albums that are coming out for some of our artists, which is really exciting. And I also will reach out to zines and magazines and other groups that write articles in the London region for our artists.
If you think about the relationships you've developed during your time at Clemson, which ones stand out?
So I would say one of them is with the professor, tenure professor, Dr. Pyle. He is actually my thesis advisor for my senior honors thesis, and I'm currently exploring the effects of Spotify and their ecosystem on independent artists. And so it was really great to foster a relationship with him through taking communication classes, and then I took one of his honors seminars, and that is when I asked him if he would be my advisor for my thesis, which has been really lovely. As well as Lori Pendar, she's the head of communication department. She is my advisor since freshman year, and since I went to orientation, there were a couple of advisors speaking, but she immediately spoke to me, and I went up to her and I was like, I have to have you as my advisor. I don't care if I'm not on the list of people, please let me be your advisor, or like, please let you be my advisor. And she was like, of course. And so that relationship has been wonderful. And then just, you know, I'm a very big people person, so all of the students that I've met at Clemson, all of the other students who are like-minded in terms of wanting to be entrepreneurs or business-like, and then all of the students that do music with me has been really great. So just from jam sessions, met from people. Oh, I kind of forgot to mention before, but I'm also part of CMA EDU, which is Country Music Association educational group on campus, and that has actually been very formidable for me. And I have, you know, become close with a lot of the students in that program, and through that I've networked and met great contacts and networking through country music.
Can you talk a bit more about your experiencing with advising and mentoring with her?
So I've always been very driven since my freshman year to kind of get the most out of Clemson, and, you know, I communicated that to Lori very early on. So when I told her that I wanted to go on the Business for Paris program my sophomore year, I told her my freshman year, she was great in helping me get all of my business courses I needed done as prereqs so I could go on that trip, which is not my major. So, you know, she was able to help me in saying, you have to take this accounting, this finance before you can go. And she was super beneficial in terms of that. I've been lucky as an honors student to have priority registration, so I've never had issues getting into classes, thankfully. And so kind of all the classes she suggested I've been able to get rather quickly. But she's also helped me organize and kind of set out creative inquiries, as well as fitting in with my schedule classes that would complement my UPIC internship.
Can you talk some about excellence in the classroom? You said you're very driven. Can you just talk more about that?
I think one of the most important things is connecting with your peers, as well as connecting with your teachers, establishing, you know, good, strong interpersonal relationships. I've taken an interpersonal communications course that I really loved and found that super beneficial in terms of understanding that, you know, developing those deep, meaningful connections with people is super important to keep them in your network and to continually check on people that you have had classes with, even after the class is finished or even outside of the classroom. Unfortunately, with COVID, it makes it harder having to do classes online. And so one of the things I think contributes to academic excellence is to go above and beyond, even when we're doing remote learning. So the first couple days of classes this semester and last semester as a communication major, I followed everyone in my classes on social media just to keep connected on LinkedIn or Instagram and whatnot. And I believe that's super beneficial. And just being a leader in terms of initiating conversations, whether it's with group projects or whether it's just being proactive on a personal project. I think, communication is key to academic excellence.
And then what are the most substantial ways in which you have grown personally and professionally during your time at Clemson?
I've always been interested in doing things that involve working with people closely, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Once I started getting involved in different groups on campus, I was able to kind of pick what I liked and what I didn't like, and through that I found that I've always loved music, but I found out that I could do that professionally, and I could collaborate with my education in communication and business. Additionally, I think that just going abroad, going to Paris for 6 months was super formative for me in terms of just I love international collaboration. I'd love to work internationally at some point. I was supposed to be in London this semester for an internship, and just how important cross-cultural communication and collaboration is.
And what advice would you give to a prospective student in the Department of Communication?
To definitely look into the UPIC program. That was one of my favorite educational components of Clemson, having what I felt like was real life experience while at the same time taking classes, so I could apply what I was learning in my PR class or in my public speaking class into a professional setting. And starting young, it just opens up a lot of doors for you. I don't think I would have gotten all of the internships I've had in my junior and senior year had I not started my freshman year, or I started in the spring of my freshman year. So just being proactive, and even if you don't think you can get an internship your freshman year or after your freshman year, knowing that you can work for a small company from where you're from, you can reach out. There's always people looking for unpaid interns, especially for communication in terms of PR, writing, social media marketing, etc. So start thinking about that, and when you start young or when you start as a freshman looking at internships, it really helps kind of direct you into what you like and what you don't like. And for me, that was super helpful because I liked all these things coming in, and communication can be rather broad. So being able to recognize what part of communication you want to pursue post graduation.